is a highly classified tactical war game simulation based on current geopolitical threats in the Middle East. The Persian Gulf, the absolute center of global energy, and currently the most heavily contested body of water on the planet. Sailing proudly through the center of the Strait of Hormuz is the crown jewel of the United States Navy, the USS Gerald R. Displacing 100,000 tons of forged steel, powered by 2 massive A-1B nuclear reactors, and carrying over 70 highly advanced combat aircraft, the Ford is not just a ship, it is a floating American city. It projects absolute dominance.
But modern warfare is evolving at a terrifying speed. In this simulation, the enemies of the United States do not intend to fight the American aircraft carrier with traditional destroyers or submarines. They intend to overwhelm it using the brutal, unforgiving mathematics of the drone swarm. Deep inside the Tactical Operations Center of the Gerald R. Ford, the digital radar screens suddenly light up with an apocalyptic amount of hostile contacts. The warning klaxons begin to scream. Launched from a network of hidden mobile launch pads along the rugged Iranian coastline, a massive swarm of 500 kamikaze suicide drones is heading directly for the American fleet. They are flying low. They are flying fast, and they are all programmed with a single, uncompromising objective: slam into the flight deck of the USS Gerald R. Ford and cripple the American superpower.
The United States Navy is about to face its ultimate test when the multi-million-dollar missiles run out and the drones break through the defensive perimeter. The survival of the aircraft carrier will depend entirely on a single autonomous robotic gun. This is the story of the day the Phalanx Close-In Weapon System saved the United States Navy. To understand the sheer panic inside the American fleet, we have to understand the terrifying nature of the incoming threat. The enemy is using highly modified Shahed-style Delta Wing loitering munitions. Individually, these drones are cheap, slow, and relatively primitive. They are made of fiberglass and powered by commercial engines. But when 500 of them are launched simultaneously, they become a weapon of mathematical destruction. The defense of a carrier strike group is designed like an invisible, multi-layered onion. The outermost layer of defense immediately springs into action. Airborne F-35 Lightning stealth fighters and FA-18 Super Hornets, already flying combat air patrols, engage the swarm. Firing advanced air-to-air missiles and using their internal 20mm cannons, the American pilots aggressively slash through the incoming drones, shredding dozens of them over the open water. As the remaining drones push closer, crossing the 50-mile mark, the second layer of defense activates. The Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers escorting the carrier, the USS Arleigh Burke and the USS John Finn, unleash their vertical launch systems. The sky is filled with the blinding white smoke trails of SM-6 and evolved Sea Sparrow missiles. These multi-million-dollar interceptors smash into the drone swarm, creating massive, hyper-saturated fireballs high in the atmosphere. The radar screens show hundreds of enemy targets being violently erased. The American fleet is putting up a legendary wall of fire, but the math of the swarm is unforgiving. Firing a $2 million missile to shoot down a $20,000 drone eventually depletes the ship's magazines. The destroyers cannot shoot them all down. 50 heavily armed kamikaze drones successfully break through the outer and middle defensive perimeters. They cross the 5-mile mark. They drop down to wave-top height, skimming just feet above the ocean surface to evade tracking radars, flying at over 120 miles per hour. They are heading straight for the massive exposed hull of the USS Gerald R. Ford. The carrier is now entirely on its own. The time for long-range missiles is over. The time for the last line of defense has arrived.
Mounted on the external sponsons of the aircraft carrier are multiple Phalanx Close-In Weapon Systems, affectionately known by American sailors as R2-D2 because of its distinctive white dome-shaped radar housing. The Phalanx is the absolute apex predator of short-range naval defense. Before we witness the Phalanx unleash absolute hell on the incoming drone swarm, it is time for a quick tactical quiz. The Phalanx CIWS is completely autonomous once activated, meaning a computer makes the firing decisions, not a human. Do you know what specific type of ammunition this terrifying robotic gun fires to destroy incoming threats? Is it A, 50 caliber explosive incendiary rounds, B, 20mm tungsten armor-piercing discarding sabots, or C, 30mm depleted uranium shells? Drop your tactical knowledge in the comments right now, and I will reveal the correct answer at the end of the video. Back on the deck of the USS Gerald R. the situation is critical. The 50 surviving enemy drones are now just 1 mile away. You can physically hear the high-pitched whine of their engines approaching.
Inside the Combat Information Center, the Tactical Action Officer gives the final, desperate command: weapons free. Phalanx is armed and autonomous. The white dome of the Phalanx system suddenly snaps into action. It is not controlled by a sailor with a joystick. It is completely driven by 2 incredibly advanced radar systems. The search radar, located in the top of the white dome, instantly detects the incoming swarm. Milliseconds later, the tracking radar, located just below it, locks onto the exact velocity, altitude, and trajectory of the leading drones. The robotic mount physically swivels with lightning-fast mechanical precision. The massive 6-barrel Gatling gun points directly at the horizon. And then the ocean literally roars. Brrr. The sound of the Phalanx CIWS firing is an absolutely terrifying, deep mechanical buzzsaw that vibrates the steel deck of the entire aircraft carrier. The 6 barrels blur into a single circle as the weapon fires at an unbelievable rate of 4,500 rounds per minute. That is 75 heavy rounds leaving the barrel every single second. Because the engagement is happening so incredibly close to the ship, the visual display is breathtaking. The Phalanx utilizes specialized tracer rounds mixed into its ammunition belt. A continuous, blindingly bright laser straight beam of solid red fire reaches out from the side of the aircraft carrier and slices directly into the incoming swarm.
The tracking radar on the Phalanx is brilliant. It uses a closed-loop spotting system. It tracks the incoming enemy drone, but it also actively tracks its own bullets flying through the air. The computer calculates the difference in real time and micro-adjusts the gun barrels, physically walking the stream of fire directly onto the target in milliseconds. The destruction is instant and absolute. The heavy rounds smash into the leading kamikaze drones. At this velocity, the impact does not just damage the drones, it completely disintegrates them. The first wave of 10 drones is violently shredded into a cloud of falling fiberglass and burning jet fuel. They hit the water in a massive splash, skipping across the waves. The Phalanx does not pause. It does not celebrate. It instantly snaps to the next cluster of targets. Bird! Another solid beam of red fire cuts through the sky. 5 more drones explode in mid-air. The Iranian operators attempting to guide the swarm are completely helpless. There is no evasive maneuver that can outrun a computer calculating trajectories at the speed of light. The engagement lasts exactly 42 seconds. The Phalanx systems physically burn through thousands of rounds of ammunition. The gun barrels glow a fierce, bright orange from the extreme friction. Thick, acrid gray smoke from the fired casings covers the side of the carrier. The firing abruptly stops. The mechanical whine of the spinning barrel slowly winds down. The American sailors on the flight deck rush to the rails and look out over the water. Less than 500 yards from the hull of the Gerald R. the ocean is completely littered with burning debris.
The remaining 50 drones that broke through the missile defense net have been completely and utterly erased from the sky. Not a single drone touched the American carrier. Not a single American sailor was injured. The absolute panic is replaced by deafening cheers across the ship. The strategic war game simulation concludes with a definitive, undeniable result. The mass drone swarm is an incredibly dangerous, highly capable asymmetric tactic that can easily overwhelm traditional missile defenses. But the enemies of the United States must remember one terrifying fact. To sink an American aircraft carrier, you have to get past the Phalanx, and the Phalanx does not miss. And for those of you who guessed B in our earlier tactical quiz, you are absolutely correct. The Phalanx CIWS fires 20mm armor-piercing discarding sabres made of heavy tungsten. These dense heavy metal darts carry incredible kinetic energy, designed to physically shatter incoming missiles and drones before their warheads can detonate.
What is your tactical assessment of this massive drone interception simulation? Do you believe the Phalanx CIWS is the greatest last line of defense in naval history? Let me know your deep tactical thoughts and military analysis in the comments below. If you thought this naval engagement was intense, you absolutely will not want to miss our next massive battle simulation. Next time, we are taking things back to the skies. What happens when the American F-22 Raptor, the undisputed king of air-to-air combat, goes head-to-head with a massive swarm of Russian Su-57 Phalanx stealth fighters? It is going to be the ultimate fifth-generation dogfight. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on. You will not want to miss it.